Hi guys, so I just want to walk you through doing the task we have just done, and hopefully it's a better way of you watching this, and then I'll put up the link on Teams when I'm finished. So I'm starting off where I've got Google opened and I've also got Microsoft Word opened. Okay, and this is what we're trying to do, is end up, this looks something like this, where I've got the picture of the West Wing menu cropped. I've got the heading, the West Wing restaurant, and I've got a border. And I can also put in a picture of the restaurant there if I want to. I just can't be bothered at the moment. So this looks good. We don't want to make it too busy. We just want to end up with a menu that looks like this. And you don't always have to type up your menus. You can borrow what's there and reproduce it. So I've got a blank window in Microsoft Word opened. Now I went to view one page. This is normally where we are, view 100%. But I went to my view ribbon and went to one page just so that I could see the picture coming in on the page. So I want to visualize the layout. I just want to make sure that the layout is good when I copy it in. So now I'm going to go back now to Google, and I'm going to click on the Google link and go back to the Google page. Now I know I have Google and Word open because I can see the light blue underline under Google, and I can see the light blue underline under Word, and you can see I'm still on my Teams window with you guys as well. So this is where we were a few minutes ago. We were on our meeting for VITAS 1C. So I'm going to go back over here now to my Google window. So the good practice here for you guys is that you get used to switching between your windows down and your taskbar, so you can have several things open together. So I'm going to type in West Wing menu. So we'll all look for the same thing, West Wing menu. And I come up here, and the first hit I get is TripAdvisor, the second is Facebook, and the second is menu pages. Now I tried to get in here and it won't let me in. So I'm going to go to their Facebook page. So I'm going to click on the West Wing Restaurant Home Facebook page link, and I get as far as here. And it brings me up the West Wing, and you can see then they have their banner, the West Wing Restaurant header, and it comes up then. I've got to just get rid of that, close that chat. And I just scroll down, and if I scroll down a bit, I can see the menu. So this is a picture of the menu, which is fine. We don't need anything else. So I'm just going to hover over the menu, and you can see I'm hovering, or I can just click on it and it brings it up as a picture here. Okay, so I don't want it as a picture here. So I'm going to close that down. I want to be hovering over the picture on the main Facebook page. So I'm going to just go back there. I went out one step too far. So I'm back to the West Wing Facebook page, and I'm going to scroll down. So I don't want to click on this. I just want to hover on this. Okay, so I'm hovering on the picture and I'm clicking the right mouse button to bring up the shortcut menu. And on here, you can see I can save the image as, or I can copy the image. Now today, I only want to copy the image. Okay, I don't need to save every single image. So I'm going to copy the image. So I'm going to click on copy image. Now, as soon as I click on it, I'm presuming that it has been copied. So I'm now going to test this out. So I'm going to come down to my taskbar down here, and I'm going to click on my blue W and go to my blank page. And now I'm going to come back to my home ribbon, and I'm either going to click on my paste icon or click on Control V on my keyboard. So I'm going to paste the picture in, and this is what I get. Now, nice picture, but a bit messy. Okay, so now I want to edit the picture that I have in. So I'm going to click on the picture itself, and you can see I've got file handles. You can see the four corners, one in the middle, and then I've got this little button that slightly turns the picture around if I need to. And you can see when I clicked off it, I have these ribbons up on top: File, Home, Insert, Design, Layout, References, Mailings, Review, View, and Acrobat. But when I click on the picture, I get an extra ribbon up. It's called Picture Tools and Format. And if I double click on the picture, it opens up the ribbon for me. Okay, so if I click once, I can see the ribbon. Okay, I'm normally over here at home. I can always go over to Picture Tools and open up the ribbon, or otherwise double click on the picture and it will open up the ribbon for you. Now you've got lots of nice little options here to work on your pictures, and I'm going to go through them with you. But for now, I want to cut off that brown table, the extra behind the picture. So I want to bring the picture in below this line so it doesn't look crooked. So the first thing I'm going to do is use my crop tool. So the crop tool is like getting a scissors and cutting off the part of the picture you don't want. Okay, so I'm going to pull it down from the top. Now I can use the corner ones and pull it in like this, which is fine to do. But just for this example, I'm going to grab the top one and I'm going to pull it down slightly inside the line. Okay, now I don't need to read the text, I just want to see the picture. And I'm going to pull the side one in. So I need to hover my mouse over the black line so the mouse becomes a black T. So I'm just going to bring it up so you can see that on the screen. I'm going to bring it up another bit. Okay, so when I hover my mouse over that black line, you see how it changes into a black T. Okay, I'm going to click on it and I'm going to pull it in. And then I'm going to come the other side and I'm going to pull that side in. So I'm pulling it in beyond the line of the menu. See that line there? So I'm going to grab the bottom bit and pull it up. Now, as I said, I can also use these corner ones, and the corner ones pull it in and up at the same time. Okay? And you can see that the shadow of the old picture is behind, and then the cropped picture is on front. So if I think that looks okay, then I just simply click off the picture, and then I have my new resized picture there, which looks way better than the old one. So I'm going to go back to view full page now, and I'm going to do a bit of work on this one page. So it's in the wrong place. So I'm going to go back, double click it again to bring up my picture tools. And here I've got two options. I can position it on the page or just simply wrap the text. Well, I don't have text to wrap around it. So I'm just going to position the picture on the page and I'm going to put it into the bottom center. Okay. And then if I want to, I can make the picture a bit bigger. Okay. But I want it at the bottom center so I can put up a heading here called the West Wing. So that looks like it's fairly much centered to me, and I can reposition it bottom center again if I think it's slightly not on center. Okay, now I can go back to my Google site and again to my Facebook page, and I can take a picture of the West Wing if I want to. So maybe I will. I'll just right click on that picture of the West Wing that's there under photos, copy the image, come back to Word, and I'm going to paste that in there as well. And the picture comes in behind the text, okay, or it's below the text. So now I've got to do something with the picture, okay. So I'm going to wrap the text this time. So I'm going to click on wrap text and I'm going to put it in front of text, behind text, stop, bottom, square. Let me see, in front. I'm just going to put it in square. That'll be fine. And then I'm going to grab that picture in the middle like so. And I might bring it up here to the top. So I'm just going to bring it up as a tiny little picture up top. Okay, just sitting there, which should be okay. And maybe bring it in a tiny, tiny bit. Now I can bring the picture up as small as that. Okay, and then instead of copying the text over, so I'm going to go back to view 100% now so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to type in the West Wing the West Wing restaurant. Tune. Okay, and I'm going to highlight that text and I'm just going to make sure I need to press an enter key just underneath it. Okay, now this is causing me problems. What I'm going to do is I'm going to slightly bring down the top of that. So it's just creating a little bit of space for me up on top. It's just the picture is just a little bit too big. Okay, now the other thing I could have done there instead of doing that is go back to the picture again, go back to picture tools and just crop it. Just bring it down another bit on top and come down to the bottom and bring it, because that's all spare page that's there and bring it up a bit and click off it again. But make sure that everything fits on one page. So I'm going to highlight that text there now again. And I'm going to come down to text and I'm going to change the color to pink. And if I haven't got it here, I'm going to come in to more pictures and bring it into somewhere like this. Okay, so I'm going to come in here and I'm going to center it, apply bold, and change the size to size 22. Okay, and I've left the T behind, so I'm just going to reformat the T now. In fact, I'm just going to delete it back and type in there again. Okay, it's just because I haven't formatted the beginning now, it doesn't like it. Okay, so I'm going to just recenter that. Now I don't like the color of the text now that it's bigger. So I'm just going to come up here and I'm going to change the color to a darker pink. So I'm just going to come in here and choose a darker pink. And I think that looks better. And again, I've lost the TH. Okay, so I'm going to come back in here and then you can see the last color I selected is there. So I'm going to click on there. Right, so now it's not looking too bad. So now I can grab my picture here and maybe just move it a little bit to the left. Now it doesn't want to go up because that's where the margin is. Okay, so I can go back to picture format and I can maybe choose true. Okay, and maybe change the margin slightly just to bring it up a little bit. Okay, I need to change that margin slightly. And I can do that by coming over the side and clicking on the dividing line between the grey part of the margin, which just stops you typing it in, and the white part. So I'm going to choose the top margin line and just slightly pull up the picture, just so that I have a bit more space up on top. And then I'm going to click on the picture itself again and reposition it to the bottom middle. So you got to keep working on it until you have it the way that you want it to be. So that looks quite good to me now. So I'm going to go back and view it as one page, because the way that you'll know that whether it's good or not is by viewing it on one page. And I'm going to slightly bring down the picture again, just slightly like that. Okay, and that will do. That picture's causing me more trouble than anything else, but I'm insisting now that I get it in, so I will get it in. So all I'm doing here is using my up, down, left arrow keys to move the picture slightly around the page so it's repositioned better. Okay, and I'm just going to go back to 100% so you can see that. I just clicked on the picture and I use my up, down, because sometimes the mouse jerks it and it moves it too far. So sometimes just to absolutely refine it, I just use the arrow keys like so. Okay, and I just want it to go down a tiny bit so that the heading is centered. Now, if that heading is causing you trouble, just bring back the heading to the left-hand margin. That's fine too. And then what I could do is I could move up the picture to the right of the heading. So whatever works is good, but have everything inside the margins. I don't want the picture to be out here. For example, I want the picture inside of the margin. So it's lining up here on the left-hand side of the menu, like so. Okay, now one last task, because I'm going to go back to view one page. I want to come back to my home option and my border options. So I'm going to click on my border icon on my home ribbon, come down here to borders and shading, and it brings me up the big borders and shading box. So this first tab is for text. If I had a paragraph of text, I could put a border around it. The one I'm interested in is the page border, and it's setting to none, but if I come down here and choose box, okay, I'll get a box. And then I can scroll up and down here and choose what kind of start line I want. So for my demonstration today, I just chose a plain single line, but I don't have to. I can scroll down here and choose any of these fancy lines. Okay, I can choose squiggly lines, a double squiggly line, a dashed line. Any of these are fine to use for the border. Because it's a menu, I might choose this. I quite like that actually. It's like a framed line. Okay. Likewise, I can change the width of the line. So I can make it really skinny border. I had it up on 3, which might be too much. Maybe 2.5 points will be enough, or 2.25. And I can also change the colour. So I could change the colour to that pink. And if I need to choose it off more colours again, I just come in here and choose it off the colours. Now there's also art. So I can choose one of these options, which brings me into a completely different thing. Like I can put Christmas trees around it and it's going to look like that. But I don't want to do that. I want to come back into borders and shading again, page border, and I really don't want to use that. What I want to use is the lines. So I'm going to go back and select my lines, and I'm going to change the color of my lines to pink. And the width is a bit wide, so I'm going to change it back to maybe 2.25 points. So you got to judge it with your eye and click OK. And if that looks okay on the page, which I think it does, great. If it doesn't, you need to come back in here again to borders and shading, and each time go back to the page border tab, and then you'll have to reselect your options here. It's the only way you can change your page border is by reselecting the options here. So I might go for the 2 squiggles instead, but have them maybe, yeah, I can't change the width of them. So I click OK, and that's a new border. Now it doesn't look like much here, but if I go back to 100%, that's quite subtle, and it doesn't take over the whole page. But one more time, I'm going to go back in and check the borders. Drop down on my border icon, back to borders and shading, back to page border, and I think I'll go back to my original choice, which was this one. I quite like that 3 points color pink, and go back to my original choice. I prefer that one for the menu. Now, if I go back here and I go to view and one page, that looks quite good, and the menu is actually straightened itself up. Okay, back to 100% for a minute. Now, see this little icon here? If your menu is slightly crooked, you can get that icon here and you can literally pull it to the right a bit, and you will change the order. See, if your menu is crooked, you can actually turn it around in the page, but that menu looks okay the way it is. So I think that's a finished piece. Hope you enjoyed doing this. Give it a go anyways and see how you get on. Okay, and I have actually changed the orientation of that menu too much now. So I just need to go back and have it slightly to the thing. Okay, that looks good. Okie doke, last task then. I'm going to click on File, Save As, and I'm going to click on my Browse button, bring it back to my Documents folder, and then I'm going to bring it into my, I'm just going to create this folder, FETOS 1C, because I don't have the folder created already. And I'm going to just have it as the West Wing Restaurant Tune, but I'm going to type in menu. Okay, so I know it's a menu. Save as type, make sure it is a Word document, click on save, and you're finished. And you can see the heading coming up here. So when you've that finished, either upload it to me on Teams or send it to me as a link. Whatever way you're doing it for Patricia and Marie is good, and I'll give you some feedback on it. And that's the end of my screencast, so I shall stop recording now.